Luigi Mannion walked into the courtroom like any ordinary man, but what he had done over the years would shock everyone who knew him. From hidden crimes to carefully orchestrated deceptions, this is the story of a life lived in plain sight and the dark secrets that finally caught up with him. Luigi Mannion lived a life that seemed ordinary to everyone who crossed his path. He woke up each morning at the same time, brewed his coffee just the way he liked it, and walked to his small cafe in the heart of the town. The cafe was modest, with a few wooden tables and a counter that had seen better days, but locals loved it for its warm atmosphere and the friendly smile of its owner. Luigi greeted everyone politely, remembered their favorite orders, and listened patiently to their stories. He appeared dependable, harmless, even comforting, a man who seemed like a fixture in the community. Yet beneath that calm exterior, there was a subtle strangeness that no one could quite place. Neighbors sometimes noticed unusual patterns. Luigi would leave the cafe late at night, walking quickly down quiet streets with a purposeful stride. He carried small packages, sometimes heavier than expected, and returned home hours later, never explaining where he had been. People who had worked with him noticed that he was meticulous about records, receipts, and customer accounts, but also strangely secretive about certain things. Even his closest acquaintances admitted they knew little about his personal life. Despite these oddities, most dismissed them, chalking them up to quirks. Authorities first became aware of Luigi when a string of petty crimes occurred in the town. Items went missing from local shops, security cameras caught glimpses of a figure who resembled him, and reports of being watched began to surface. Yet no one could prove anything, and Luigi's reputation as a polite, helpful man worked in his favor. His past revealed no criminal record, no signs of trouble, and friends eagerly vouched for his character. The contradictions baffled the police. How could someone so ordinary be connected to these incidents? The tension escalated when Luigi was unexpectedly arrested. The charges were shocking, a jolt to a town that had always believed in his innocence. People whispered, trying to reconcile the image of the friendly cafe owner with the accusations now made against him. Suddenly, the ordinary life that Luigi had carefully constructed was shattered. The world that seemed familiar and safe became unsettling, filled with questions and fear. What had he been hiding? How long had he been living this double life? The arrest sent shockwaves through the community, leaving everyone grappling with the unsettling realization that appearances can be deceiving. Luigi Mannion, the man who seemed so ordinary, was about to reveal a hidden world of secrets that no one could have anticipated. The investigation into Luigi Mannion's life revealed layers of secrets that no one in the town could have imagined. What had seemed like a harmless man running a small cafe was only the surface of a carefully constructed fraud. Detectives began scrutinizing every aspect of his daily routine, from the hours he kept to the people he interacted with. It didn't take long before they discovered that the cafe, which had always seemed welcoming and ordinary, was actually a cover for something much darker. Hidden behind the counter and beneath the floorboards were stacks of documents, photographs, and notes that made it clear Luigi had been keeping meticulous records of people, places, and events for years. Surveillance footage became a crucial piece of the puzzle. Luigi had been seen visiting locations far outside the town, moving through quiet streets late at night, and entering buildings where he had no apparent business. He was always careful, always deliberate, never leaving evidence that could immediately tie him to any wrongdoing. Yet, when the investigators pieced the footage together, a disturbing pattern emerged. Luigi had been manipulating situations and people around him, gaining their trust before exploiting it in ways that were both clever and chilling. Each discovery raised more questions than it answered, revealing a man who was far more calculating than anyone had suspected. The most alarming moment of the investigation came when detectives uncovered a hidden room in his apartment. The room was small and windowless, filled with items that directly connected him to multiple crimes. Financial ledgers, coded messages, and a series of personal effects suggested Luigi had been living a double life for years. He wasn't just committing small, random offenses. He was orchestrating a web of criminal activity that extended far beyond what anyone had imagined. Evidence pointed to theft, fraud, and psychological manipulation, all carried out with a precision that made investigators uneasy. Despite the mounting proof, some details didn't make sense. Certain incidents seemed to have no clear motive, and some witnesses or associates had vanished without explanation. It became apparent that Luigi had been operating with a level of cunning that allowed him to stay one step ahead of both the law and those around him. Detectives realized that every lead they followed brought them closer to understanding his methods, but it also revealed how cleverly he had hidden them. The more they uncovered, the clearer it became that Luigi Mannion was not just an ordinary man, but a calculating figure capable of hiding a dangerous life in plain sight, leaving the town and authorities stunned by the depth of his deception. The day Luigi Mannion stepped into the courtroom, the atmosphere was thick with tension. The room was packed with spectators, journalists, and families of victims, all eager to witness the trial of the man they had once trusted. Cameras flashed constantly, capturing his calm demeanor as he walked in, seemingly unaffected by the weight of the accusations against him. The prosecution laid out an intricate timeline of his alleged actions, starting from minor thefts and moving toward far more serious crimes. Each piece of evidence was presented with precision, showing how Luigi had manipulated situations and people, all while maintaining the facade of a friendly cafe owner. Witnesses described encounters that seemed ordinary at first, but under scrutiny revealed subtle manipulation, intimidation, and exploitation. Financial records, photographs, and hidden documents were brought forward, illustrating the scope of Luigi's calculated behavior. The prosecution argued that nothing about his actions had been accidental. Every move had been deliberate, and every relationship he formed had been part of a larger, darker strategy. Yet Luigi remained calm throughout, his composure unsettling everyone in the room. Observers couldn't tell whether he was indifferent, defiant, or simply confident in his ability to evade the truth. A surprising twist emerged as the trial progressed. Some of Luigi's closest associates, individuals who could have clarified certain events, were missing or unaccounted for. Their absence created gaps in the narrative and led to speculation. Were they hiding crucial details, or had Luigi orchestrated their disappearance to protect himself? This uncertainty added an additional layer of suspense, leaving the courtroom on edge and the public guessing about what might never be revealed. As evidence piled up, Luigi's dual life became undeniable. What had appeared to be an ordinary, harmless existence was revealed to be a carefully constructed web of deceit and manipulation. Each day of the trial uncovered more startling revelations. Luigi had exploited trust, evaded suspicion, and hidden his tracks with astonishing precision. Even seasoned investigators admitted they had never seen a criminal operate with such cunning and foresight. By the end of the week, the courtroom was consumed by tension. The community, once certain of Luigi's innocence, now grappled with the terrifying realization that a man they had trusted could lead such a double life. Every twist, every hidden detail, and every revelation made it clear that Luigi Mannion was not just a criminal. He was a strategist, a manipulator, and a man whose story would leave an indelible mark on everyone who witnessed the trial. The line between truth and deception had never been more blurred, and the town could only watch as the story of Luigi unfolded before their eyes. As the trial of Luigi Mannion progressed, the darkest layers of his life began to surface, shocking everyone in the courtroom. What had started as a series of minor allegations now revealed a far more sinister picture. Luigi had maintained multiple identities over the years, each carefully constructed to allow him to commit crimes without leaving evidence that could be traced back to him. Bank accounts under different names, false identification documents, and secret properties came to light, showing the extent of his planning and deception. It was a world that no one could have imagined existed behind the facade of the quiet cafe owner. Financial records became one of the most damning pieces of evidence. Every transaction, no matter how small, was meticulously recorded, yet many pointed to illicit activity. Large sums of money were moved through accounts that could not be traced to legitimate business dealings. Evidence suggested that Luigi had been involved in blackmail, fraud, and other schemes designed to exploit and manipulate those around him. Investigators realized that his crimes were not random. They were calculated, precise, and often executed in ways that left victims questioning themselves rather than him. Perhaps the most chilling discovery came in the form of anonymous letters that Luigi had sent to authorities over the years. These letters, filled with taunting details, showed that he had been watching law enforcement as closely as they were watching him. He knew how to manipulate investigations, how to stay ahead of the authorities, and how to ensure that nothing ever led directly back to him. It became clear that he had orchestrated his life in a way that allowed him to control every narrative, every encounter, and every potential threat. As more evidence was revealed in court, it became painfully obvious that Luigi's manipulation extended beyond financial and criminal acts. He had psychologically influenced people, gaining trust only to betray it later. Friends, employees, and acquaintances had been carefully chosen, tested, and exploited. Investigators admitted that his level of cunning was terrifying. Luigi had not simply committed crimes, he had constructed an empire of control, secrecy, and deception that would have been nearly impossible to uncover without meticulous detective work. By this stage of the trial, it was clear to everyone observing that Luigi Mannion was not just a criminal, he was a strategist, a manipulator, and a man capable of thinking several steps ahead at all times. The courtroom, the town, and even the investigators were left grappling with the scope of his actions, realizing that the man they had once trusted had hidden a world of darkness in plain sight. The revelations left no doubt that Luigi's story was far from ordinary, and the danger of underestimating him had been painfully clear to all who had witnessed his calculated deception. The final day of Luigi Mannion's trial arrived with a sense of heavy anticipation that hung over the courtroom like a storm cloud. Families of victims, reporters, and members of the public filled every available seat, all eager to witness the conclusion of a case that had gripped the town for months. Luigi walked into the room with the same calm, measured demeanor he had shown throughout the trial, as if nothing could disturb his carefully constructed composure. Cameras clicked and flashed, capturing the quiet confidence of a man who had shocked an entire community with his hidden life. The judge began to read the verdict, and the courtroom fell into a tense silence. Each count of the charges, fraud, manipulation, theft, and the more serious crimes tied to his multiple identities, was carefully addressed. The evidence, painstakingly gathered over months of investigation, left little room for doubt. Luigi's meticulous planning, his ability to manipulate those around him, and the depth of his deception had all been laid bare for everyone to see. Despite this, the courtroom remained on edge, as if holding its collective breath, waiting to witness how the man at the center of it all would respond. As the verdict was delivered, the weight of the courtroom's silence was broken by murmurs and gasps. Luigi Mannion was convicted on multiple counts, but the reaction was more complex than mere relief. The trial had exposed the terrifying brilliance of his mind, the way he had operated under everyone's noses for years, and the depth of planning behind every move. For the town, it was impossible to shake the feeling that they had lived alongside someone capable of extraordinary deception, and the realization left a lingering unease. Even after the trial ended, questions remained. Certain aspects of Luigi's life were still shrouded in mystery, unexplained absences, associates who had vanished, and evidence that hinted at activities no one could fully trace. Authorities acknowledged that while justice had been served in court, the full story of Luigi Mannion might never be completely uncovered. His ability to manipulate, evade, and conceal left a mark that would linger in the minds of investigators, victims, and the public alike. The aftermath of the trial changed the town forever. People who once trusted easily became wary, and the memory of Luigi Mannion served as a stark reminder that danger can hide behind the most ordinary frauds. The story of his crimes, his cunning, and the courtroom drama that revealed it all became a cautionary tale, one that would be retold for years to come. Luigi Mannion's life was a testament to the fact that appearances can be deceiving, and that even the quietest, most unassuming person may harbor secrets that shock the world when finally exposed.